with another live. I told y'all I was coming back. I told y'all I was coming back. Um, what we about to do now, we about to see what most scandalous Los Angeles got. We're gonna rock with them for a little bit. I might need to ask the Nina Boy person to see if I can to see if I could basically do something with their stuff too. But we gonna most scandalous Los Angeles law, y'all check us out.
On the last episode, we were informed by former LAPD detective Greg Kading that WAC 100 was lying, and he had absolutely nothing to do with helping Shaquille O'Neal, Mark Stevens, or any of the 7 Main Street Crips that allegedly kidnapped and robbed Robert Ross, aka Stutterbox. He informed us that everything WAC said in regards to the role he played in that particular Welcome back to
What's up, y'all?
Scandalous Los Angeles TV, where we expose the exposers. In today's episode, we'll be responding to Young Ant, who recently reacted to my video, the one where he actually got the chance to question Porky directly.
Okay, we did that one already. Let's go to this one. Let's see what's going on with this. What's up? How y'all doing, man? Y'all hit that like?
On the last episode, we were informed by former LAPD detective Greg Kading that WAC 100 was lying, and he had absolutely nothing to do with helping Shaquille O'Neal, Mark Stevens, or any of the 7 Main Street Crips that allegedly kidnapped and robbed Robert Ross, aka Stutterbox. He informed us that everything WAC said in regards to the role he played in that particular case was absolute BS. That's just one of the many lies that WAX told concerning this case.
What's happening?
The next lie came a few months back, WAC 100.
What's happening, everybody? Appreciate y'all for coming in here. You know what I'm saying? We reacting to most scandalous Los Angeles. And basically, we just gonna run the content, bro. Y'all kicking me a Karma Cafe. Want y'all to like, subscribe, share, hit notification. Exodus 1, aka Indigo Sky, aka Trigger Ranking.
Accompanied by former Compton police officer Reggie Wright Jr. and former LAPD detective Greg Kading took to the social media platform Clubhouse in an attempt to clear WAC of the CS2 back allegations. When WAC introduced Detective Kading to his listeners, he introduced him as the lead investigator on the Stutterbox and Main Street case. Here's a small clip of that audio.
We got Reggie Wright, top right. Reggie Wright contacted Greg Kadings. Greg Kadings is
I don't know if y'all know about Greg Kading. Greg Kading is one of the officers that basically did a lot of the detective work as far as the Tupac unaliving and the Biggie unaliving. If I'm not mistaken, he's no longer with us.
As the lead investigator on that case. Greg Kadings was the lead investigator on that case.
As you just heard, WAC's plan was to deceive the listeners into believing that Greg Kading was the lead detective in the case. Because after all, If he is the lead investigator, then he would know exactly who CS2 back is, and exactly who CS2 back is not. Let me show a small example of Wack's plan being played out.
Josh Jones, we don't usually use monikers under those circumstances, like Wack or Wack 100.
Okay, so this is the lead detective in the investigation.
Did you guys hear 600 lie to the people also? Ask yourself, why is he going out of his way to lie like this? Either 600 is really this ditzy and game goofy, or he the police too. He has absolutely no idea how bad he makes the 60s look every day. So Greg, let me ask you, because the people want to know. When Wack brought you on Clubhouse, he introduced you as the lead investigator on the Stutterbox case. Is that true? Were you the lead investigator in that case?
No, that's not true. No, that's not true.
You guys just heard it. He just let us know that Wack lied again. Greg just said, no, that's not true. The thing is, Greg knew it wasn't true when Wack said it. So ask yourselves, why did he allow Wack to tell that story? Why was he willing to let the listener believe that he was the lead investigator in that case? The answer is quite simple. It's because Wack is a protected confidential source.
Here's how that went. The guys that worked down in 77th Division, merely a couple of investigators.
What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? Hey, man, y'all checking in with me.
They wanted to do a Main Street Crip case.
Y'all kicking to me on the Karma Cafe, man. Let's listen to this comment. I mean, this.
And when they were doing the Main Street Crip case, obviously we're already dealing with Box on an unrelated thing. But now Box is wrapped up in this whole dilemma with Bell Dog. All the shit we had going on with those guys. So, we were dealing with Box entirely on a separate level, or I'm sorry, in a separate
investigation
thing. And they said, hey, we want to do this kind of larger federal type of case on Main Street. Can you help us? They're asking me, Greg, can you help us get this over to the federal level and to do an investigation on the federal level? Because, some of these guys don't have that experience to know how to go from a local investigation to a broader federal investigation. So they came to me and said, Greg, can you help us? I said, yeah, absolutely. You guys think you got a good case here?
So basically, they need to ask Greg Kading, which is the detective that I told y'all about earlier. They had to ask him because they wanted to take it federal. And basically they had to ask him, I guess some information like how do we take this thing federal, because it was only a state case, I guess from the beginning, and they wanted to ramp it up to be federal.
So I helped them initiate the case. I helped them get up on a wiretap and kind of helped oversee it. They were really the lead on it. They had the intel. They knew who the players were. They knew what the history was. And I became aware of it. I started to realize, what Box had to do with Shaq and what Box had to do with Bill Rugg and all of that. So that was it. I wasn't on some mix. I was one of the guys that was directly involved, but more of like an overseer as opposed to the boots on the ground kind of guy.
Boots on the ground. Let me give him a fan now. Boots on the ground. Okay. So yeah, y'all check it out. So basically, Greg Kading was able to help the feds try to put a case together, and they actually, with what's his name? What his name is? Keefe D. Keefe D basically told on himself for years. He thought he had amnesty. Amnesty is basically when you have, that's what the police have. Amnesty. You know what I'm saying? But it's basically like, you could talk about something and you won't be charged with the actual thing you're talking about or telling the police.
There you have it. Wack not only lied and deceived the people about helping to free Shaq and 7 Main Street Crips, he also lied about Greg Kading being the lead investigator on the case. We can't forget to throw 600 in that pot also.
So what he's saying is what most scandalists are saying, that basically Greg Kading was not the lead investigator, but Greg Kading basically said that earlier in the video. He said he overhauled it. He basically was the overseer and gave them the information that they need to bring a federal case forward.
To protect the lies of his handler, he went above and beyond the call of duty to deceive his listeners as well. He even went as far as demanding Doozems, Brick Baby, and Spider Loke to apologize to Wack for calling him back.
Man, Wack on paperwork. Nigga, we got the paperwork. Nigga, his name is back. Right. And I heard multiple people say this. You know what I'm saying? Spider Loke said it on record. Brick Baby said it on record. And dude Deuce, man, he said it on record. They all said on record. Talk about.
I think 600 is a clown. Honestly, like, to be honest with everything, I think 600 is a clown, bro. He's like a tool that's used by Wack 100, like other people on the internet.
Boys a rat, right? So I'm like, okay. But y'all already knew he wasn't, because nobody never showed no paperwork. Y'all was painting some type of narrative that Wack was a rat. So what y'all do is, since y'all went out your way on a public platform to try to salt this man's name, y'all owe that man an apology. And that apology is gonna clear your name in the streets. His name already cleared.
Before I end part 2 of this video, I want to read a small excerpt from Greg Kading's book, Murder Rap. I'll be reading from chapter 20 entitled Stutterbug.
So anybody in here watching, they had a movie called Murder Rap. Y'all might want to watch it. Greg Kading is in this movie, and basically, he talks about a lot of things that has to do with Tupac's unaliving, Biggie's unaliving, and the connecting pieces, because it's basically like a spider web, like everything connecting to one person.
And it reads, the fact was, the closer we looked at Cash Jones, the more it became apparent that he was supporting his comfortable lifestyle by simple hard work.
Shout out Spider Loke.
When he wasn't on long-haul trips, he was running a number of...
Y'all go check out Spider Loke channel, Baymac. Y'all go get his merch and things of that nature. I'm about to reach out to Spider Loke in a little bit as far as when it comes to the production side. But yeah, y'all listen, man.
Small but completely legitimate sidelines, including distributing a men's magazine called Straight Stuntin'. It might have been sleazy, but it wasn't illegal. And as time went on, we gained increasing respect for the truck driver's entrepreneurial spirit. Now, I don't know about you guys, but never in my life have I ever heard a homicide detective speak so highly of a Pyru.
So, meaning that if a detective speaks highly of a gang member, that means that 9 times out of 10, they're basically they're working with the police, and they're talking about Wack.
Think about all the lies Wack has
allegedly
told. Think about all the problems he starts. Think about every disgusting thing you've seen him do or heard him say. Then ask yourself, how is it possible for a homicide detective to gain respect for a guy like that? The fact that Greg will come on Clubhouse for Wack to help him deceive the listener is more than enough to raise suspicion.
I ain't gonna lie, hold on. I didn't know Greg Kading came on. Greg came on Clubhouse. I didn't know that.
If that isn't enough, though, this small part of Greg Kading's book should be a nail in the coffin. Have you ever heard Greg Kading speak that highly about Marion Knight's entrepreneurial spirit? Next time on part 3, Greg is going to give us a little more insight about CS2 back and who Mark Stevens and Del Dog were talking about on the wiretap transcripts. Please stay tuned for that. And if you enjoyed the content, please hit the like button and the subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the bell to receive notifications in the future.
Back is a name, handle, moniker for Whack. Whack was a rat.
This is Buick. Now. Buick.
Hold on. Gotta make sure.
I'm in the game still rapping at a high capacity. If Nas wants to smoke, come in the booth. I will rap.
You don't want no smoke. He enjoyed that 150 million, 200 million.
Quick question. Do y'all think Nas is better than Jim Jones, or do you think Jim Jones is better than Nas? Me, all day, hands down, Nas is better than Jim Jones.
Okay then, so then leave me alone while I'm on the field.
You was happy with him. He wasn't bothering you.
They don't really know who Nas is. If he's 22, he's born in 03.
Not all of them, some of them know.
Jim Jones is never better than Nas. Jim Jones will never be better than Nas. And this is coming from somebody that's not a Nas fan. I love Dipset. I love the Diplomats. I love Bergen. But we not about to start rewriting history because Jim Jones got confidence.
Jim Jones popped off on Shannon Sharp's podcast, claiming he's not just relevant, he's more influential than Nas. Not just now, but to the entire culture. And the second he said
that's the case, you might well say he's more influential than Tupac.
The whole vibe shifted. 50 Cent didn't post a selfie, didn't drop a diss, didn't even mention names. He just casually uploaded a federal transcript, yep, a real one, on Instagram like it was a throwback pic. No caption needed. The streets instantly knew what time it was.
I never got to sit there and have a conversation with Nas and things like that. I had called you about it like that. I was like, still one of the people that I never got to have a conversation throughout my history of rap and things like that. I think I would love to have a conversation with Nas. I wouldn't know if he knows it, but Nas was one of my all-time favorites.
What conversation y'all gonna have? Like, tell me what a conversation is gonna lead.
The rappers coming up and things like that.
I heard you say that.
Since the barbecue and things like that, like he really put the whole dope boy rap, crack hustler, get fresh rap into perspective before anybody.
Now, fans are out here playing detective. Old wiretaps are making the rounds. Archived interviews, phone calls, all of it is bubbling up again. Meanwhile, Jim's in the gym throwing verbal punches on Instagram, looking like he's training for a rap war in a court case. But let's be clear, this ain't just about Nas, and it's definitely not just rap beef. This feels like 50 sending a loud warning to the whole industry. I see everything and I don't forget. Some folks have been skating past indictments like it's luck. But what if it wasn't? Jim thought he was proving a point. But what he might have done is open the gates to something way bigger than he ever planned. There's a reason why every time Jim Jones brings up Nas, it hits different. Because this tension didn't start yesterday. This ain't no random generational jab. Their history runs deep, all the way back to 2002.
I recently saw a clip on Instagram where a young kid was comparing you to Nas and saying that you got
that's my young boy.
Big hits.
Wow.
Yo, he looked to you. He learned how to wear the BB Simon belt from you. He got his swag. Like, how crazy is that? Because in my era, you know what I'm saying? Nas is like a god.
In my era too.
That year, Nas went on Hot 97 and randomly blasted Cameron, called his album whack with zero context. No build-up, no warning. Just shots fired out of nowhere. And that was all Dipset needed. They went into full-on war mode. Jim Jones didn't hold back. He dived into the beef head first. What followed was straight chaos. Diss tracks, mixtape shots, slip lines, and interviews. It was ugly. But Jim took it way more personal than the rest. He wasn't just rapping. He was threatening. Said he'd smack the kufi off Nas. And he kept the same wild energy on every track. We Fly High wasn't just a flex. It was a declaration. But here's where it gets twisted. Jim used to admire Nas. Just a year ago, he wasn't throwing shade at all. He was actually speaking on him with respect. There was love in those words. Then boom, everything flipped. All it took was one podcast appearance with Fat Joe and Jadakiss, and Fat Joe
Remember, Nas' first record, Barbecue, came out when I was in 11th grade. So Nas was my way with my own style and my own way that these kids started to gravitate towards the same way I gravitated towards Nas when I was younger. It's a whole different generation.
He poked the bear, stirred the pot like a pro, and suddenly admiration turned into tension real quick. This could have just been a quick spark on the timeline, but Jim Jones wasn't ready to let it go. He came back swinging, ready to dig even deeper into the drama. Out of nowhere, he dropped one of the wildest takes hip-hop fans have heard in years. And no, it wasn't just about being more relevant. Jim went all in, saying he's more influential than Nas. Yes, that Nas, the legend from Queensbridge, the mastermind behind Illmatic, God's Son, King's Disease. The same man still selling rework.
If he's 22, he's born in 03.
Not all of them, some of them know. But not all of them know.
That one interview didn't just stir up drama. It turned the whole thing upside down. It flipped the table, smashed the pot, and set the whole kitchen on fire before the smoke even had a chance to settle. This wasn't just a hot take. It was a full-blown explosion. Right after that heated podcast moment, Jim Jones showed up somewhere else again. This time, he walked straight into the nightcap show with Shannon Sharpe and Chad Ochochinko Johnson, acting like he came to explain things. But instead of clearing the air, he ended up throwing even more fuel into the fire. Shannon wasn't playing nice. He opened the conversation cool.
Comparisons, and then we try to act funny when it comes. No, I've been spending a lot of this shit on the industry. I've been on.
That's how intense it got. Jim wasn't backing off. In fact, he pushed it even further. He started talking about the old Dipset and Nas beef from the early 2000s. Said he used to be a huge Nas fan, but now believed he had passed him in terms of impact. Then Jim started switching the tone. He got props for his style. He's one of the flyest to ever do it. But even while praising him, then Jim dropped one more jab. He accused Shannon of only inviting him on the show to get more views. That put Shannon over the edge. He snapped right there in front of everyone. The whole vibe flipped instantly. This the biggest podcast you've ever been on. That's what Shannon Sharpe told Jim Jones. But right after that, things flipped.
I don't care what nobody say. I know I made a little boo-boo when you talk about the sales and all this type. I don't feel like getting into that rhetoric about where I started and where he started. But listen, Nas was nice when I was in high school. When I was in 10th grade, Nas came out. Nas was dope. We appreciate him. They had a little bit of fun.
Shannon stopped acting like a friendly host and turned into a full-blown opponent. If Jim wanted smoke, Shannon was ready to drag him straight to the gym and leave him breathless. It all started when Jim said, once again, that he was better than Nas. But Shannon wasn't just coming for his bars, he came for his body. Instead of clapping back with words or dropping a diss track, Jim tried to flip the narrative into a flex. He challenged Shannon to a gym showdown, trying to show off that he still got it, still relevant, still dominant, but in a new lane. The problem? While Jim was too busy with workout theatrics, 50 Cent had already made his next move quietly behind the scenes. And that one mysterious individual one label?
Nas always came up second to Jay and DMX and all these other people. Like he never had that type of influence on us, except for his first album. I already told you, I used to want to dress like Nas because he had a lot of fresh clothes that the hustlers used to wear. And we used to see him on TV. He had one of the illest albums of all time. And then in high school when he had the barbecue shit like that. So I'm a real fan of Nas, but he kind of lost me after the movie Belly and shit like that.
Still sitting in the background like a ticking clock, heavy with implications. Meanwhile, the internet was on fire. The comment section turned into a war zone. Fans couldn't believe that a retired NFL Hall of Famer was now out here defending Nas. The infamous 2018 Tekashi 6ix9ine Trey Blood trial. In that case, prosecutors played a phone call where someone allegedly ordered gang members to handle Tekashi for flipping on the court. The man on that call, never officially named in court, as Individual One, and fans who listened to the leaked clip sounded a lot like Jim Jones. Here's the twist. Jim's name was never, and he was never charged with anything. But 50 didn't have to say a word. That post said everything. The streets didn't forget. The blogs didn't forget. And 50
I'm rapping at a high level. You better take that, bro. I was one circle around now rapping right. I was one circle around now rapping right. Right now, I was rapping around now right now.
Well, Jim was out here puffing his chest on podcasts, trying to drag Nas into a lyrical showdown. 50 saw an opening, and he took it. It was the perfect setup to remind everyone that the streets remember everything. So what did 50 do? He jumped back into his Instagram vault and reposted a meme he once deleted real quick. The post read, "So that's why they ain't pulled him in." It was subtle, but the message was loud. Let's rewind to 2019. The Shade Room had posted an update from Tekashi 6ix9ine's court case.
Hey, that's the biggest podcast you ever been on. When you get big, you get invited to Club Shay.
This is what I do.
Nas get invited to Club Shay.
A verified courtroom reporter claimed that Tekashi had named Jim Jones as a 9-trade blood member under oath. That post had the streets buzzing, and 50 couldn't resist. He jumped into the comments with his own spin. Then came the viral moment, a video of 50 pretending to look terrified. He captioned it with, "I'm afraid for my life. I mean, Jimmy is gang gang." The internet cracked up. But behind the laughs, Jim was definitely feeling the pressure. And this is where things shift. 50 never had beef with Nas. This whole situation gave him a perfect excuse to turn up the heat on Jim again. Truth is, the tension between Jim and 50 didn't start here. It's been brewing for years. Back in 2007, during Dipset's internal collapse, 50 brought Jim Jones and Juelz Santana on stage during a G-Unit concert.
You gotta start buying baggy clothes, big fella. You too big, man.
You talk about you in the gym. Now you want to get me? You want me to see me in the gym?
Oh, we can do that.
Like to talk that in. Now come see me in the gym.
We talking about working out. We talking about working out and strength. What you talking about? Working out or strength?
What? However you want to do it.
We talking about
since you got money,
and we talking about
put
working
your money
out.
where your mouth feels.
So you talking about working out? I burn you. You talking about working out? I burn you. You talking about working out or strength? Because you probably can lift a lot more than me.
Whatever.
You're probably stronger than me.
Whatever.
But if you talk about working out, you talking about working out, I burn you.
This ain't what you do. This ain't what you want. You don't do it wrong when you talk about Nas and Jada. You don't want to see this.
Cameron saw that move as straight up disrespect, especially since Dipset was already falling apart behind closed doors. Then in 2019, during the federal trial, Jim Jones got labeled as individual one in a wiretapped call, tying him back to one of the biggest scandals in rap history. And now, 50's just circling back, picking up right where he left off. Even though Jim was never officially charged, the name stuck. Individual One became a label he couldn't shake, and the internet ran wild with rumors, calling him a snitch, questioning everything. Jim saw 50's posts, all of them. And at first, he stayed quiet. Then he broke the silence with a throwback Bird Gang photo, soaked in Dipset nostalgia. The caption? "Why you keep lying? LOL. I'm going back to sleep. Free Mel Matrix till it's reversed."
Honestly, I can't, if it was like Jim Jones, imagine putting a pen to paper to write about him. He was so nice. He was so nice about him. How did you do that? What's the first sentence? What the fuck we writing about him? I'm not anxious to hear the Jim Jones at this rate. So nervous with B.I.G., Pop, right? Even cannabis, Eminem, if we go at it, dog, we gonna go hard. You know what I'm saying? But Jim Jones, I'm respect you getting your money. You're exactly, right?
That Free Mel Matrix line was a direct shout out to his longtime friend, who's been serving over 11 years on serious racketeering charges. But it was also a jab at 50. a way of calling him out for pushing a fake narrative, creating drama from a version of reality Jim didn't respect. But Jim didn't stop there. He dropped another Jim flex, full body shot, looking combat ready. The caption this time was aimed straight at Shannon Sharp. Somebody tell Shannon Sharp, don't start ducking this challenge now. Gonna talk like a podcaster or gonna walk what you talk? Cause my sneakers tied. You already challenged me in front of the world. Might as well finish the job, champ. He brought Ochochenko into it too, saying, he said he don't want to do it in public. Tell him let's do it in private. I know Shannon's rep as an athlete is on the line. As long as you're the witness, we don't duck no challenges. Size don't matter where I'm from. Run it. While 50 was busy trolling from the sidelines, Jim was acting like he was about to step into a real fight. Gloves on, laces tight, full energy. And then came the knockout punch online. Jim posted one last message that sent his critics wild. If you 40 and up arguing with me about Nas, you already lost.
I'm hiding out in Texas. Please, whatever you do, don't tell them I'm in San Antonio. Don't tell them I'm staying at the Four Seasons. Don't tell them, please don't tell them, because it's just so much pressure on me right now.
The petty was peaking, and Jim was loving every minute of it. Y'all fell for the bait. My streams go up every time. That's what Jim Jones posted after everything exploded, using all the chaos to boost his numbers. He wasn't hiding it. He was teaching old.
Y'all keep me in the Karma Cafe, like, subscribe, share, hit notification. I will be back. I gotta go to the store and make some things happen. I'll be right back though. Peace.